Good evening, world. It's your guy, Ryder Ruler, aka Sly Zulu, also known as Almanac Athletics. On the Does Anybody Like Sports channel. And in this video, this special is going to be called No One Wins Alone. Now, the reason why I say that is because we've seen a lot of players on a lot of good teams, and we've seen a lot of great players on a lot of bad teams. And this one particular player is ranked as the best of all time, the best to ever live. His name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And the team he was on in this season wasn't really a bad team, wasn't really like a great team. They were a good team, a decent team, an improving team, but not good enough around him to get him over the hump at that time. And this was the 1987-88 Chicago Bulls. In the 1988 season, Michael Jordan had one of the best seasons I think any player could ever have. He's a known scorer and finisher. But 35 points a game on the average. Like, whoa. We've seen players with great highlights. We've seen players that can finish. But to keep that thirst of scoring, that always amazed me about Michael Jordan. It's just like when I watch his old highlights, even when I watched him play when I was like a little pupil, a little infant going into a kid, to even the Wizard days, I was always like, yo, like this dude got that energy to just put up buckets on you and just it's not stopping. It's not stopping. It's like, can you stop the rain? You can't. And the 1988 season was one of those years that really put him on the map for just torturing everyone and everyone that was around him. I believe it was like a video when he said, when I get the ball, you're at the mercy of whatever I want to do. And by all means, he had the NBA at his mercy. And he was Defensive Player of the Year that same year. Defensive Player of the Year in 1988. Do you know how hard that is to lead the league in scoring and be Defensive Player of the Year in a league where there's so many great players that something's got to give? You have to be really great to be consistent at everything every night, or at least most things every night that matter. And he did that, and that's why he was MVP of the year. You lead the league in scoring. League MVP. Defensive Player of the Year. All-Star MVP. The All-Star game was won in Chicago. And you faced Dominique Wilkins in the dunk contest and won. You faced Dominique Wilkins and you won. Dominique Wilkins is one of the greatest dunkers and scorers that ever lived also. He wasn't better than Michael Jordan, but he was great in his own right. And he was great competition for Michael Jordan, and he always gave Michael Jordan problems. And if anybody that was going to score with Michael Jordan, it would be Dominique Wilkins. There's footage out there. Go look it up. Go look it up. He was the human highlight for a reason. And Jordan beat him in the dunk contest. So I know if you Michael Jordan back then, you know, because I saw The Last Dance. I felt like it was a great documentary with great 10 parts, and I'm going to give my review on that soon, on my take on how I feel about it. But that 88 season was a season where, you know, he was a great, unbelievable player, but the support cast was kind of unlikely. I mean, you had Charles Oakley. He was a great defender. You had Dave Corzine. He was a decent all-around, like, center, but he was, like, you know, going past his prime. He didn't have that much time left to be in the league. You had Sam Vincent. He was averaging 8 assists per game. You know, he was doing great. Sam Vincent was very underrated point guard. You know, he put in a lot of work for the Bulls. He was one of the first good sparks that they had when they were coming out of that slump of being a bad franchise. Sam Vincent put in his work. I got to give him credit. You know, on support cast, they had CDL3. He was tough. Scottie Pippen was a rookie that year. The great Scottie Pippen, or soon-to-be great Scottie Pippen, was a rookie that year. He played around 79 games, close to 82 games in that season, but he came off the bench, and, you know, he played 20 minutes a game, and they used him for mostly defensive purposes and passing, and every now and then he'll get an alley-oop or, you know, a good drive, but he wasn't really featuring the offense yet. His game wasn't really on that level yet. So they were really a team that was really centered around everything Michael Jordan. You know, it was a time where Bill Laimbeer, he was, Detroit Piston, legendary Detroit Piston back-to-back champion Bill Laimbeer. He even said that the Pistons saw them at that time when they were facing them in the playoffs in 88 and in 89 and, you know, in 90, those years when they were beating the Bulls. He said that there were the Jordanaires. We saw them as the Jordanaires, the Chicago Jordans, the Chicago Jordanaires, not the Chicago Bulls. It's like a team. And when you play like that and you just send around one guy, it's like, you know, they wasn't going to respect that. And he had to learn to use his teammates to really get over the hump, no matter how great he was. You know, that 88 year was one of the best years. Like, I mean, I think anyone that wasn't Magic, Bird, maybe Isaiah, maybe Worthy, you know, a couple key guys, but I think anybody else would probably give their right arm, left leg to have a year Michael Jordan had in 88. To have all that riding on you, to have all those accolades. But what I liked about MJ and what everybody and the whole world likes about this attitude on this is he loved to win more than anything. And he rather win a championship than win all that, all the other stuff. Now, he was cool winning all the other stuff, but when he couldn't win a championship, his whole other mood changed because he knew what the end-all, be-all goal was to win that trophy. And that's why he has the legacy he has today, because he didn't settle. He didn't settle for short-term goals or short-term accomplishments. So yeah, man, that was my take on the 88 Michael Jordan year. I feel like that was a phenomenal year, even though he didn't win a championship. He lost in 5 to the Detroit Pistons in the second round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. You know, and that year, you know, he had the best shoes, in my opinion, the Jordan 3s, the elephant print, hands down the greatest Jordans, like ever, in my opinion, just a work of art. I just love those 3s. So, I mean, you had the 3s, man, dunk contest, all-star game, MVP, league MVP, scoring champ, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think anybody individually on an individual note could top that. And that year was a true and honest MVP voting because he did more with less. The Bulls was 50-32 that year. That's a good record. But you knew they wasn't better than the Lakers or the Pistons or, you knew if they probably would have faced Dallas, it would have been like a toss-up because Dallas was good that year in the late 80s, before Aguirre got traded to Detroit. But, like, you knew they wasn't on that Celtics, Lakers, and then Pistons, like, they was up under them. So Michael Jordan was a true MVP because he did more with less. So like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I'm just starting this channel up. Y'all smash the like button, hit the subscribe. I'll put my Cash App link down there. It's your boy, Rod the Ruler. Does anybody like sports? Almanac Athletics. Peace.